ended up burned. If you haven't seen part 1, click on the link above. Kidnapped from their homes.
Que les corten la cabeza, aunque sea cruel la noticia, ya renunciaron al puesto, pero aquí están en mi lista, no escaparán a la muerte, ahí los veré en la garita. No tiemble mi comandante, hay que morirse de frente, el 27 de enero la quiso hacer de valiente.
Let's get into this video, guys. Okay, like I was saying, guys, this is the video of my coach's murder. Now, I'm going to start this video. I'm going to back it up to when I was a kid. I'm going to start from when I was 4 or 5 years of age. Hugo Sergio Lara RIP was the first person that motivated me to do martial arts. His son, Hugo Lara, named after him. Just like myself, I'm named after my father. He was my first best friend and still is my best friend till this day. We were in kindergarten together. We were in first grade together. And one day I was at his house and we didn't know what movie to watch. So his dad put on Enter the Dragon and I was sold. Ever since then, I couldn't get martial arts out of my head. Okay? So he was the first one to install that seed in me of martial arts. His son, on the other hand, also is a black belt and all that, but he's not like obsessed martial artist like myself. He is a doctor. No offense to him, he's overweight. He doesn't really like training. He's not really into what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? My coach was a police officer. He was instructor at the police academy for the cadets, and he was also a state police agent, bodyguard for the chief of police and his daughters of the division of the Policía Judicial, which later became La Policía Ministerial. So, yeah, he was a cop. This is the reason why he was murdered. Now, when I was a kid, I used to hang out all the time at Hugo's house. Me at his house or him at my house. And I'm going to tell you guys a funny story of something that happened when we were kids. I was used to being around guns because, you know, my dad was in the army. My dad's friends were all generals in the army, in the Air Force. So I was always around guns. I was pretty used to that. And Hugo had a clip laying around with some bullets. No guns, just the bullets. So since I had already played a lot with guns, and every time someone hands you a gun, they take out the bullets and the clip, I was very curious about the clip and the bullets themselves. So me, Hugo, and Hugo's sister, and my little brother, it was my idea, of course. I grabbed a bullet and put it on this barbecue thing, and I lit it on fire, and I was waiting for the bullet to explode. Luckily, Huguito's mom came and got us. It was a very stupid thing, but, you know, guys, I was like 6 years old, you know? But, I mean, I was at his house all the time since I was a kid. I lost touch with Huguito and Hugo after I left Mexico, after my parents got divorced, you know? When I was like 8, 9, I left Mexico, went to Holland. Then after Holland, I was 1 year in Mexico with my father, went to military school actually in Acapulco. I was in military school for 1 year. And then we went to LA with my mother. My mother decided to move to LA. So I lost touch with them throughout this whole time, okay? But at some point after I was second degree black belt, I already competed. I was already instructed at the instructor course in America. I was already at the time the best in JK Taekwondo in Burbank, California under Grandmaster Jinky Lim. And when I came back, I was looking for a place to train, and coincidentally, me and my dad ran into a school where my coach was teaching. After he was killed, I ended up taking the classes over there, and I ended up giving private lessons to Arnold Milchan, Hollywood producer Arnold Milchan. If you guys haven't seen that video, click on the link above. The whole story about teaching Arnold Milchan. Fight Club producer, Pretty Woman producer, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He owns Regency. He was an Israeli spy. He was my student, my best private student. And you guys can watch that link above that I just put up there for you guys to watch if you guys want to watch that video. So I ran into him there, and you know, right away I remembered him. I bowed to him. He didn't even know who I was at that moment. He recognized my dad, and then it clicked. And I told him, hey, I'm a Taekwondo second degree black belt. I want to train, blah, blah, blah. You know, he was like very whatever-ish about it. The next day I went to the black belt class training, and he was very impressed by my kicking skills. Like after that, me and him, we were like this after this. We were like this after that. We were just inseparable. I used to help him teach the cadets at the police academy. I was on TV with him doing demonstrations to promote the school. I fought MMA tournaments for him. I used to help him teach people at the dojo as well. I used to cover his lessons. I mean, the list goes on and on. You name it. I was always with him. We were inseparable. And a lot of the other black belts, therefore, also got jealous. I mean, like, I always wanted an instructor that I was his favorite student, his best student, you know, like that father-son relationship. I always wanted that, and I never had it before. Like, when I had my instructor here from something in Holland, I mean, he didn't even remember me anymore when I came back the first time until I told him a few things to mention my grandpa. Then he remembered that he had taught my grandpa's grandson, which was myself. But at first he didn't even remember me, and I wasn't his favorite one in the class, which always hurt me because I was always the one doing my very best to get that status, you know. And when I moved to the States, it wasn't any different, you know. Master Jinky Lim, his son was always his favorite student, you know. If I would spar his son, he'd coach him so he could beat me, you know. And it's like Master Lim, I was never his favorite student, even though I was his best student. He always used me to show off as his people used to call me his show-off doll or his show-off monkey, you know, like his show toy. These were nicknames that I used to get, you know, because he got a lot of students by having me show off, having me do demonstration, having me teach, having me do the stretching, having me demonstrate the kicks, having me teach the kicking, having me teach the sparring. Like, I was always doing these parts, you know, because I was the best one at it. But still, I was not Master Lim's favorite student. His son was always his favorite student, you know. So when I went to Mexico, and now all of a sudden, I am, you know, I mean, the love I had for Hugo goes deep, guys. You know, he was like my dad, for real. He was a person I started admiring. He was a fearless individual.
Así me gusta, ¿ves? Qué mamón.